Let's just start with this. Today is one of those days where I made money, but I don't feel I traded well. I funded an account, but if I'm being honest, I probably earned a 5 out of 10, if that, on my discipline scale today. Coming into today, the market was pretty overextended for what I wanted to see. Right here on the daily chart, you can see we have been trading down, and through the, let me just do this a little bit, there we go. So you can kind of see we came up, came down, came up, came down, kind of like an M pattern right here. We did break below this and push down. This was the prior day high. The prior day low was here. Pre-market high was right here, and pre-market low was down here. So we were already pushed down a few days of the red here. So I was kind of nervous about that to begin with. Then on the 4-hour chart, you can see, I don't have it drawn on this one. I had it on my trading view side, but we have this huge fair value gap right here, and another one right below it that goes from here to here. So I just drew one big one. So that's kind of what I was looking at. Somewhere in this range is where I feel like we need to go to on the 4-hour in order to continue down if we're going to continue. Then on the 1-hour, you can see we pushed down, we bounced back up, and then we pushed down again. So this is pre-market through here. This was yesterday. Pre-market came down through here. We did go through this and kind of chopped, and then we pushed back up into it and pushed back up into it and down. So this was our opening 1-hour candle right here from at 10 o'clock. Ended at 10 o'clock. And then the 15-minute, you can see here at 9:15, we started selling down, and then 9:30, the open, we sold way down. I drew this fib along the whole move of what I saw. Actually, it would be a little bit different now because we did push lower. And so ideally, what I wanted was a pullback into this 5.5 and 61.8 area right here, which was also right in the middle of the box that I had drawn on the 1-hour. On the 5-minute, as we came into this morning, again, pre-market low was down here, pre-market high was up there, prior day low was here. We put in the opening range high on the first candle. We pushed up and then sold down. And then we pushed up a little bit and sold down. And then pushed up a little bit and sold down. So there was no green candle in the morning's opening range. The first green candle that we saw was right here, after opening and pushing down and then coming back up. So this was the first green candle right after the orb formed, and then we sold down again and came back up. So in all this, I was really hoping for a pullback to at least the midline before taking a trade. I did not trust the initial break this morning of the orb. So and I had some boxes here that I had drawn that I've taken away now, but price, just like I said, on the 1 minute, we did have some green candles, but very few, mostly red. We pushed down, you can see how we pushed back in. So this was the candle that broke the orb and closed back in it. So I really didn't like the way this looked. So what I wanted to do was wait for that pullback like I mentioned, and I just never got it. So when we pushed back up into here and rejected, and then pushed back and rejected again, that was when I was like, we're not going to get back up there. So I went ahead and took a short here and ended up pushing down some and then coming back up. I had my stop right around here. I can't remember now, and I'm on a different account. I've switched to a different account. But we pushed down, and I pulled my stop into one of these now, and I can't remember which one it was. Because initially my stop was up here, and when we pushed down, I went ahead and pulled it down, I think to this one, inside of this one, because we'd already pierced it. And then we pushed back up and stopped it out. So, because mine was going this way at this point in time. So yeah, got stopped out there, and it immediately rejected. But I was nervous at this point. So the way I feel, the reason I lower my grade is I chased this trade here instead of waiting for it to truly pull back where I wanted it to. We were way outside of the band. So here we go on TradingView. So as you can see, we pushed down through here, and this is the lower band. So we were way away from this lower band right here. So the S1, it did profit eventually, but we did pull back, and then the S2 entry right through here is where I was looking to take the short. So on the 5-minute candle, this one pushed up, and then here, and then my short that I actually took was right here. So I took the entry right here, we pushed down, we pushed back up, and then we pushed down again. So when we pushed back down, I moved my stop down to just a little bit over break even. I was in really good profit right here because I had doubled my contract size. So trading down here, I traded 2 contracts and then added in as we pushed up into the orb again. So I was in 4 contracts, and then we kind of pushed up into here before it stopped me out. When we got on like this candle here, I added in another one. So it reduced my risk, but increased my reward. So I was in 6 contracts right here, and then I wound up getting stopped out. So as we hit up here, I went in 12 contracts. And when we pushed down here, I was up like $600. But my greed got me. I didn't want a red day again. This is something that I really worked on in the beginning of the journey, was not worrying about having a red day or not, because living to fight another day. So then price came down and then flew back up and stopped me out. And the stop out that I took here at break even was, I don't really even know how to explain what happened. I was amazed at what happened with it. Instead of it just exiting the trade, somehow it put me in another trade of it, and I don't understand why. I did notice on TradingView my contract size was different. It wasn't showing properly, but on NinjaTrader here it did, so I have no idea what happened. When we pushed back up, it stopped me out here for like $30, and then immediately entered me in another short right up here near VWAP. Really no clue what happened, and there's nothing I can say about it. So what I should have done is close that trade out immediately, especially when we push back down. But what I did do is I lowered my stop down to here, but because it was another 12 contracts, I was down, I want to say I was down like $700, and this risk was like $400, so it was going to hit my max risk if my max drawdown if it came up. But then this candle pushed down, and that was amazing. I love this candle right here. And I was like, okay, this is good. But then again, my greed came about. So then I'm like, okay, this is a really good candle. We could sell down from here. And I had my stop down here. I had moved the target to where I would make back the money that I'd lost plus some. And we pushed down, and then obviously we pushed back up. So then when this candle busted through, I got stopped out, and that account was done. So I was like, okay, I've got to figure out what to do about my discipline on all of this. But what I was thinking, I have a fresh account that I had just gotten and through Lucid, and when we pushed, I was like, this is going to be a really good break of this and go higher potentially. So what I did is I waited when all this happened. I switched over to the account and I waited for a pullback. I really wanted one to VWAP, and we pulled back, and I said, okay, I'm going to put my entry right at the peak here. Doubled my contract size again. So now I was in 24 contracts. It's a lot of contracts. But I entered here, and then my stop was down just below VWAP here. And I think it was like right here. And so I entered up here. Stop was down here. Price up here funded my account. And we were actually, like, this candle went up. I was like 3 points away from funding it. And then this one happened, and then this one went up, and I was like 3 ticks away from funding it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And it was really starting to get to me. But here's the thing. So we had pushed up, and I don't know why when I was trying to manipulate the target and the stop to where I wanted it, you can see like this arrow over here, you got to click it. And I was moving around and drawing my boxes and stuff. Actually, I drew a box right here, and I had one like this, and I was like, okay, this is where I wanted my stop under, and there's a little X that pops up right over here on your orders. And so I had this box drawn here. This was my entry, and then I was looking to see what I wanted to see on the downside to protect it. So I said, okay, so I've got this little area right through here. So I drew the box out. When I went over here to click this and adjust it, I hit the X. And when I hit the X on this, it took my target out and my stop out. So then I was like, crap. So I went back up here to where my target was, manually put in the target as a limit buy or limit sell order. And then I went down to put my stop back in, and it wouldn't let me put the stop in because on these accounts, you're only allowed to trade so many contracts, 40 micros or 4 minis. So because I was in 24 contracts up here, I couldn't put it in down here because it would have been 48. So then I was like really nervous right there. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't move a stop up. I can't do nothing. What am I going to do right here? And then this was kind of looking weak with these wicks. And I'm like, please don't go back against me. And this is where I was oversized. My emotions were coming into play. There were so many things going on in this trade right here. And my wife's sitting over there at the other computer, and I'm telling her, I'm like, if this hits, I fund this account. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, just get on up there. And she was like, well, just close it. I'm like, but I don't want to. It's right there. So I didn't. So then price just popped up and hit the target and went on up, pulled back, and then went on. There were a few different variables that went into play here that I could have done when this situation was going on. I could have taken off 20 contracts and left only 4. That way, if we did pull back, it would be fine, and I could have put a stop in at break even. That would have locked in a ton of the profit that I had built, and then I could have moved my stop wherever or my target where I needed it to be to finish funding the account or something. But I didn't do that. That was one of the things I could have done. So there was a lot of different things that don't go through your mind at the time, and that's why reviewing is so important, going back and reviewing what happened. Because had I done that, this trade could have, well, it still would have profited. I would have managed it differently, but I would have taken a lot of that risk off the table. Close 20 contracts, leave 4, put a stop down here for 4. When we went up and pulled back into this area, I could have added if I wanted to, if this hadn't got me out. So there's a lot of different things this could have happened. But what I want to talk on is we did flip. Now, this is the high of the orb. We've now broken through the orb and went higher. This is a flip day. I could have waited for the full flip. VWAP is not something that a lot of people in my community trade. I do because I've traded VWAP for so long. But as you can see, we pushed into VWAP, we backed off, and then we pushed up again, and then we slammed through it. So this was a good trade, in my opinion. I really would have liked to had it pull all the way back to VWAP and test before going, but buyers were really stepping up all the way through all of this. So there was a lot of different things that I messed up today, and a lot of things that not a lot of things, a couple of things that I done good today. The decision to switch the account could have been really bad. The decision that I made in that time, and then trying to go to fully fund the account at the same time, was also bad. Fresh account, accounts cost $50 to $100 depending on what you're doing. Had I blown the account, that'd have been like flushing $100 down the toilet for this particular account. So that's why I'm grading myself a 5 out of 10 at most. Like, I'm really struggling with it. I kind of want to say I'm more like a 2 or a 3 today out of 10 because of the mistakes that I made and not just walking away from the charts. I will say it's 11:56. I was done back here at like 11:20. So I did trade a little bit longer today as well. Had I just took this trade when we first broke lower on the out of the range and not waited for this pullback and not moved my stop, I would have been stopped out for a normal trade, and I may have reassessed. I feel like getting off the rip of not taking this and then missing my entry up here, it just kind of jostled me today. And part of me wants to say on a day where I get jostled like that, I have to just walk away because it's better safe than sorry. I don't want to risk too much money. I don't want to risk too much going wrong. And if I'm jostled, I'm not able to think clearly on a lot of it. That's where problems ensue. So today I was profitable. I did fund the account, $3,000 in profit, but I wasn't disciplined, and that's the problem. Discipline and profit don't necessarily go hand in hand. There's good trades that lose, and there's bad trades that win. And today, this wasn't a bad trade, but my management and everything I'd done prior to that was bad. Going into the market today and hitting my max drawdown on one account, that should have been it. I should have walked away and not switched over. So this type of thing of switching an account and taking another trade and making good money like this builds bad habits. And then it's like, well, it worked last time, so I'm just going to do it again today. And then you'll blow it. So that's something I don't want to get in a routine or a habit of doing, and you shouldn't either. So my overall journey, obviously, with the discipline journey is to become a disciplined trader and not have issues like this. We all have bad days. Don't get me wrong. We have good days. We have bad days. The important part is catching yourself on a bad day and just being like, you know what? I'm going to go do something else, and I'm not going to risk this stuff. So that's why I've kind of built the motto that I have, working on the discipline and getting to building wealth and protecting time. I want to be able to build wealth through the avenues that I have, trading being one of them, and then I want to protect my time. I don't want to be here all day, and I don't want to mess up the rest of the day because I'm in my head because I made a mistake. Now, had I not funded this account and had blown this account, today would have been one of the worst trading days ever, because it would have been compounded bad decision on top of bad decision on top of bad decision. Because I funded this account, it makes me feel good for the day. I made money, but it makes me feel bad because of the discipline. So I'm walking away today mixed feelings with everything, and that's where important reflection is a huge part of trading, and learning what you can live with, learning what you can't, learning what you need to fix, learning how to get better. I hope you've made it this far. If you have, I hope you've learned something. Leave a like, leave a comment. Sharing this with someone that you think will benefit from it is going to be a huge help to me as well. And if you have any questions or anything you think I should add to the videos to make them better, please let me know. I'm going to try to do that as well. So come back tomorrow. We'll see what the market brings, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, so update here. I actually had to lose some money in the account. I didn't realize there was a 50% consistency rule on that account, so I actually had to try to lose some. And so now it took a lot, but I am down to 1488, just under 1500. So I'm able to stick within the 50% consistency rule.